Confession time. In the last 2 months, I sold something from Hermes, Dior, let's see, Louis Vuitton. I also bought a couple of things and I went to the Hermes sale. So let's talk about it. Hi everyone and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. In case this is your first time watching one of my videos, hi, I'm Lesley. I'm so glad to have you here. On my channel I talk about all things luxury, in particular handbags. Were you able to guess? Maybe. But I cover a wide range of topics. I film unboxings, reviews, I adore filming shopping vlogs, travel vlogs, which there is a travel vlog coming up. I've actually since returned from a trip that I did mention in one of my Q&As that I posted recently. I went to Norway on a cruise and the travel vlog is coming up very shortly. So if any of that sounds like a thing, I would love for you to consider subscribing. But today it's not going to be a travel vlog, it's a recap. So I've been doing these kind of like luxury shopping recaps over the last couple of months, maybe since the beginning of the year. Everything that I purchased, everything that I sold, and everything that I resisted purchasing. Very much inspired by the channel Lumi Level Up, so definitely check her out. But yeah, I guess let's get into it. We're going to start with what I purchased, then we're going to get into what I sold, and towards the end I'm going to talk about what I was tempted by but resisted purchasing. Starting with something that's empty because they're on my ears. So these I did purchase and I already unboxed them. I did purchase at Heathrow Terminal 5 after my extended weekend in London, which there are a couple of London vlogs up from that trip because I loved it so much. A couple of shopping vlogs and like a 45-minute travel vlog. And to run up my trip, I purchased these Chanel earrings. Are they overpriced? They certainly are. So that was number one. Speeding through it, I'm gonna try at least. One more thing, like luxury adjacent, I guess, that I purchased in London. I did go to the, they did have a pop-up for Chanel Champs Au Splendide, which is the new flanker of Chanel Champs in Shoreditch. And it just so happened to be on while I was in London, so I did purchase, there we go, this way around, the Chanel Champs Au Splendide. It was kind of overpriced, to be honest. For 50 mil, I think I paid 120 British pounds. So I don't know how I feel about it, but it's a nice summer scent, and it would be my summer scent of 2025 if I hadn't purchased this guy right here. By the way, everything that I'm mentioning that I can give you links to, you're going to find links to the pieces that I'm mentioning in the description box in case you're interested and you want to be twinning. So like a couple of weeks after I got the Chanel Champs Au Splendide, I purchased this. So this is by BDK, it's called Impadia, and I already took the bottle out of the packaging because it's kind of a pain to get in and out of it, but it's like a very, yeah, sturdy packaging. And look at the bottle. Wait for it, wait for it. Look at it. Was like the packaging part of the purchasing decision? Maybe. Also, I got 20% off on this because they, like the department store that I got this at, had like a beauty promotion going on. So that made the decision a little easier. Plus, like calculating it down, this is 100 mil. The Chanel Champs was 50 mil. I think even with the full price of this one, this is actually cheaper, if that makes sense, if you like calculate it down by the milliliter. But yeah, love this perfume, and I decided on this one for my summer 2025 fragrance. The Chanel one, I mean, won't go bad until another couple of years, so I think I'm fine. I'm gonna try to use both of them up, but yeah, this is BDK Impadia. I'm terrible at describing scents, but let me give you like a rundown of the notes. So, Essence de Bergamote, so bergamot essentially, Mandarin, Absolu de Rose de Turkey, like Turkish rose, Absolu de Fleur d'Angers du Maroc, so like Moroccan orange blossom. Akigala wood, which I have no idea what it smells like, but I've heard like Akigala wood being included in a bunch of fragrances recently. Vanilla and santal, and it's an eau de parfum. And it really lasts a long time. It's not overpowering because it's more on the, it's on the lighter side, especially like I'm a Baccarat Rouge kind of girly and I'm trying to venture off of that because I actually can't smell the perfume on myself anymore, which is kind of a shame, especially considering it's so expensive. Other people can definitely detect the fragrance, but me, myself, have gotten so used to it. So coming from wearing Baccarat Rouge, this is definitely on the lighter side. But overall, I mean, it's potent, but it's not overpowering. So there is that. I'm already losing track of what I showed you already and what I haven't. Oh, okay. This was such a bargain, so hopefully I'm able to show you. This is actually something that I stumbled across at TK Maxx or TJ Maxx if you're in the US. It's like a very lightweight scarf. To be honest, I think it's more of a pareo. Sarong is an option to wear this as. Maybe it focuses, maybe not. But, oh, yeah, okay, you can turn it into a dress, apparently. But yeah, long story short, I paid €17.99 for it, which I think is amazing. Did I mention it's by Karl Lagerfeld? It is. So basically, it's like a two-part thing. In the middle is basically nothing. And on one side, it's like a couple of Parisian landmarks. So you have the Eiffel Tower, you have Sacré-Cœur maybe somewhere in the background. It's hard to see like backwards. Tons of like, yeah, basically typical Parisian architecture, which is so beautiful. And on the other side, hopefully it's even focusing because it's like partly see-through. So maybe you're going to see me through what I'm showing you, but it's basically like a map of Paris. I'm kind of looking forward to looking at the footage backwards when I'm editing, because chances are I will have made a fool of myself, but you get the idea. It's like a sarong, or I'm intending to wear it as a scarf, essentially. It didn't show like the initial price, but I feel like 18 bucks for a Karl Lagerfeld scarf is kind of great. Two more things, which are clothing items. We're in a heat wave currently, so you're gonna have to excuse me not actually trying them on, but I'm gonna just like hold them up because they're not necessarily like summer appropriate. But yeah, Sporty and Rich is, if you're on Instagram and stuff, maybe you've come across them. They're kind of like, I do follow a couple of influencers that wear their stuff pretty constantly. They do like workout gear and like leggings and stuff, caps, but also knitwear. And yeah, they had a sale, and actually like I've been thinking about getting something essentially from Sporty and Rich for quite a while, but they're quite pricey, like Ralph Lauren kind of vibes. But then they ended up having a sale, and I was like, okay, this is my time. So I purchased this one. It's basically like a knit top. It was on the more pricey side. They do have like less heavyweight like tops and everything. Anyway, they're gonna be linked below. Chances I won't be able to link this particular one because it was on the sale. Realistically, if something ends up in the sale, usually, unless we're talking about Nordstrom, it won't go up to like the original price. I'm gonna do my best to leave linked something similar. But yeah, I think it's like 100% cotton, and it's like a dark navy, which, yeah, you can get me with that anytime. The tag actually says, be nice, get lots of sleep, drink plenty of water, which I'm really bad at, especially the water part. And being nice, I feel like I'm doing quite a good job, but drinking plenty of water, it's an issue. So anyway, 100% cotton. I got it in an L because I'm on the taller side, and sometimes it's really hard to gauge, like, especially like on the website, the models may be tall as well, but they're super tiny, zero chest and everything. So obviously even a medium on someone that's taller than me, but way skinnier, fits perfectly in terms of the length. And I was like, I don't want to like a cropped sweater. So I went for the large, and it's great. Actually, I could do with a couple of centimeters longer, but that's just a me thing. And the last item that I purchased in May and June is this guy right here. So again, apologies, I won't be able to put it on because it's like I'm filming fairly early, hence why maybe the lighting isn't perfect, but it's supposed to get like 30 degrees today and we're already at like 27 or something like that. So apologies if the opportunity presented itself at another time. I'm gonna try to show you what this looks like worn, but it's a vintage. I think I did remove the tag, but the vintage place that I did purchase this had like a tag, and I think it says from the 70s or something, which is crazy. So it's by Yves Saint Laurent Rive Gauche, Paris. It's in a 38, and what drew me to it was the color navy. You can get me with navy, and maybe hopefully it's gonna focus. The buttons are anchors, and maybe, hopefully it focuses. Otherwise, I'm going to include like close up. I think unless this is your very first video of mine that you're watching, I think we've established that you can get me with an anchor, like a nautical theme any day. So yeah, this was just perfect. And you have two of these like anchor buttons on each of the sleeves as well. One thing that also maybe played into the pricing, so I think I paid 140 euros, which I think is fair because it like, especially considering its age, but even regardless of the age, it's in great condition. Apart from two things, or like one thing, but twice, is that the anchor bit is actually fell out of two of those buttons. So one on the right sleeve and one down here, right there. Not sure what I'm going to do about it, but for now I'm just like so happy because it's such a classic piece. Hopefully I was able to show you-ish in frame. And the sleeves are long enough, which is so rare for me because, again, I'm on the taller side and apparently my arms are like longer than average. I don't know. It's especially when it comes to Zara blazers, for instance. I always struggle with these sleeve lengths. So finding a vintage blazer with long enough sleeves, with anchors in navy blue, great condition and everything. Yeah, I just couldn't pass it up. So that concludes, let me quickly put it back so that I don't have to hold it for the remainder of the video. That concludes my what I purchased section. You will notice that I didn't purchase anything at the Hermès sale, which I did go to, I think, towards the end of May, was it? I do have a separate vlog for that, which is going to be linked in. I was going to say that corner. I think it's in that corner. Do check that out. But I didn't purchase anything at the Hermès sale, which at the end of the day, I think I'm fine with. We're going to get into some temptations in the temptation bit. But first off, let's talk about what I sold. And I do have to consult my notes for that. All right, so I did mention I sold something from Hermès. I actually sold a twilly. I'm going to include pictures maybe on this side. Yeah, let's scoot to the side for this section. So pictures will be here. And the twilly that I ended up selling was actually the first twilly that I ever purchased at Hermès. Maybe, come to think about it, maybe it was even like my first Hermès purchase. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, but I sold this one. I did purchase this specifically to go with my Louis Vuitton pochette métis and the monogram, and you'll be like, well, that is such a busy twilly. To add that on top of a monogram bag, I don't know how that makes sense, but it actually did, and it looked great, but I've since let go of my pochette métis. And overall, to be honest, I'm more of a fan of carrying my bags naked, if you will, so without a twilly. I do still own a couple of twillies, especially for my Birkin. I actually have matching twillies, which, yeah, I'm so glad that I managed to find a pair. But other than that, most of the time I just like wear my bags without twillies. If I put something on my bags, more recently in particular, it's bag charms. But yeah, it got rid of that twilly, as well as another twilly, but they're called mitzahs because they're by Dior. I sold this one. This has been in my collection for so long. It's one of the like monogram, like ABC Dior kind of mitzah. So it did have an L on one of the edges, and I think I got inspired to purchase that by Lydia Louise Millen like ages ago, at least 5 years ago. So again, I don't really wear twillies, mitzahs, wrappies, whatever you want to call them, depending on the brand, on my bags. Plus the Dior ones are way chunkier, like wider and longer than the Hermes ones, and I just wasn't able to make them work. Even when I purchased my Dior mitzah, I didn't have like a bag in mind that I wanted to wear it on. It was more so like, oh, it's an L. And back then I was heavily interested and invested in Lydia Elise Millen. That was before she started more going into like the homemaking, country living, old money kind of vibes. Realistically, she's long gotten rid of it. And now it's also left my collection. Two more things that I sold. I did sell my ferragamo earrings that I purchased at the outlet last year. They were like asymmetrical, like longer and gold on this side and silver on the other side, or vice versa. What it comes down to is basically two reasons. I shouldn't have bought them in the first place. It was more so like, okay, I feel like I'm pretty immune to purchasing stuff just because it's on sale or just because it's in an outlet. But yeah, apparently I had a weak moment with those earrings. And I mean, they look nice, but they were very heavy, and I wasn't able to tell that they're heavy and like pulled on my earlobes because obviously I wasn't able to try them on in the boutique or like at the outlet. So yeah, ended up letting those go. I did lose a lot of money. The original price was $350 or something. I think I paid $201 at the outlet, and I did end up selling it via Vestiaire Collective. So after fees and everything deducted, I think what I ended up getting out of it was like $140. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's a learning lesson. So yeah, those left my collection. And the last piece that I ended up selling in June, I think, yeah, it was in June, was a pair of sunglasses by Tiffany. Again, picture will be on the screen. It's just a matter of those kind of like, wasn't necessarily like an aviator style, but definitely yeah, not the type of style that I usually go for. It's been in my collection for a while. I definitely try to make it work, but at the end of the day, I always revert to, did pick a couple just to show you, I always revert to this kind of like sunny shape. So black, cat eye-ish. Those are like, these are my Fendi old dog ones, which I purchased in London a couple of years ago when we met up with the handbag tribe, which I'm so looking forward to catching up with in a couple of weeks at this point in Paris. So looking forward for Paris. But anyway, so those are quite chunky, but still like black, cat eye kind of shape. These were my first luxury sunglasses, the Chanel ones with the like writing on top, which are such a classic. So yeah, you get the idea. This is more so my type of style when it comes to sunglasses. Please, no one tell me they look exactly the same. So they're a little different, right? Anyway, so this is my go-to type of sunny shape, and you will see those don't really fit the bill, which is kind of a shame because they were pretty, and I also got them on sale, I think. But yeah, just didn't get any amount of use. So yeah, I guess those were the items that left my collection in the months of May and June 2025, going into Resisted. But if you're still around, maybe consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'm currently working towards getting to 7,000 subscribers, and honestly, like, obviously I can't do it without you, so yeah, consider subscribing. It's totally free, and honestly it would mean so much to me. So yeah, let's quickly talk about a couple of pieces that I resisted purchasing. Not too many, actually only one piece that was fairly close to purchasing at the Hermes sale, and that was a 70 by 70 silk scarf with a skeleton. So blanking on the artist name, but there's one artist for MS scarves that mostly does like skeleton, kind of like creepy-ish vibes when it comes to these silk scarf designs. I think there's like a Lafette something where it's like a massive skeleton on a skeleton horse, I think. That wasn't included in the sale. If it had been, I would have been tempted because that's a 90 by 90 scarf. Still, we've established Lesley and silk scarves don't really vibe. That applies to twillies, apparently, but also like 90 by 90 square scarves. I just don't wear them, but especially 70 by 70, I just don't know what to do with that kind of like measurement. But it was beautiful. I think it included like 2 skeletons in some kind of way. I'll be including, I think it's called Chorus Stellarium, actually. Light bulb moment, or completely making the name up, but yeah, photo will be on the screen, name will be on the screen. I was very tempted by that. They did have a couple of colorways, but at the end of the day, sensible Lesley entered the picture, and it was like, what are the chances that you're gonna wear it? The chances were very slim, so I did pass that up. I would have liked to be tempted by a couple of pieces of costume jewelry, but 2 things. I did go towards the end of the sale, so realistically, like the most coveted pieces that did end up making it into the sale were already gone at this point, and my wrists are pretty chunky. So for instance, my Hermes Click Age, I did purchase this years ago. Love this to pieces. I'm fairly certain it's in the biggest size available, and yeah, having fairly wide wrists means the selection wasn't the greatest, and like earring wise, necklaces wise, yeah, the selection wasn't great anymore. Okay, 1 bag and 1 scarf. Let's quickly talk about the scarf by Givenchy. I also found it at TK Maxx, which I was so surprised by. I mean, they do have like a gold label or black label section, but yeah, still kind of weird to come across a Givenchy scarf there. So the price at TK Maxx was 80 bucks. Euros, that is, and the original price would have been 340, so quite a good amount of saving, but it was definitely like a chunkier or thicker scarf, and it was too short in my opinion. I'm used to very long and voluminous, more like fluffy kind of winter scarves that you're able to wrap around your like neck and still have like this much basically hanging down. That was on the shorter side and was kind of like stiff, so you had to really maneuver it to sit. And then it didn't move at all because it did have a lot of structure to the scarf. Yeah, I wasn't that much of a fan of it. I was tempted by, again, the sale. And then I was like, let's think about it. Do we want the scarf because it's on sale? Or do we want the scarf to actually wear? And by the fact that I didn't purchase it, you can tell that, yeah, the main drawing aspect to the scarf would have been it being by Givenchy and me finding it at TK Maxx for like 80 bucks instead of 340. I didn't end up purchasing it, which, pat on the back, we grow, we progress. Anyway, so that was the scarf. And the last item that I was tempted by but resisted purchasing, I can't really tell you why. Maybe I can tell you why. So a piece on Vestiaire Collective by Dolce & Gabbana, which I did talk about Dolce & Gabbana a couple of times at this point this year. So I did go to the Du Coeur à la Main exhibition in Paris very early on in January. That was amazing. I also showed you the Dolce & Gabbana Marlene bag, or Marlene, I don't know. Dolce & Gabbana wants people to pronounce it. Yeah, both of the videos will be linked up here. But the bag that I was tempted by is the Dolce & Gabbana Sicily, but not the standard Sicily. It's the Sicily 62. I think there's a 62 and a 64 that was released for the 10th anniversary of the Sicily bag, and like 62 and 64 are the birth years of Dolce & Gabbana. No idea who the 62 belongs to, but anyway, it's like definitely a different type of leather compared to the standard Sicily bags, and it was at an amazing price. So the price listed on Vestiaire Collective was like 980 or something. And then something like, if you favorite bags or like items on Vestiaire Collective and the seller accepts like a lower price towards like a third party that is interested in the bag, you get notified and they're like, by the way, don't tell them we told you, but they're willing to accept like 680 or something. So I knew that the seller was, I don't know, desperate or wanted to get rid of the bag and was willing to accept a way lower price. And yeah, that made me feel less bad about like sending a lowball offer, which they accepted. But still, I was like looking back at the pictures and everything, and the photo quality was shit. So it's always hard, if you're looking at shit photo quality, it's always hard to gauge, like, is that like sticky or is that rubbing or something? Because like parts of the leather on the photos looked very shiny. I was like, that looks kind of sticky, to be honest, like melting or something. And I asked the seller, and obviously she was like, no, they were like, no, it's perfect, no issues, no stickiness, no nothing. I've never worn the bag. But also, like, that bag, original price, I don't think you can get it like right now anymore because they were like a special release for the 10th anniversary. Hope I'm not making that up. They were like between 2,000 and 3,000. Why was she willing to let go of that bag for like 680 or something? They made me a little worried. Also, like looking back at the photos, I was like, maybe the photo quality is just like shit, or it's actually like stickiness and issues with the bag. And obviously you can decide to get the item sent to Vestiaire Collective. They look it over, not just like for authenticity, but also like for quality issues. But at the end of the day, like if even like going into a purchase, you're like, oh, I don't know, kind of like have a bad feeling about it. Maybe it's better to step away and be like, yeah, maybe it's not meant to be. So that's the conclusion that I came to. But yeah, that concludes my May and June recap video. I feel like I've been talking for way too long. I really hope you enjoyed this video nonetheless. Let me know your thoughts on the pieces that I decided to let go of. Did you go to the Hermès sale regardless of the location? What were your thoughts and your experience? Did you purchase anything? And in general, obviously the point of this video was to share what I purchased and resisted purchasing and got rid of and stuff. But if you want to, let's turn this into a conversation. Let me know what you purchased, resisted, and sold in the last couple of months. I'd be super interested to hear about that. But yeah, don't want to keep you any longer. Thanks for watching. Definitely consider subscribing. If you're not done with me quite yet, I'm going to be leaving either on this side or on that side 2 other videos that you might be interested in. And yeah, I guess I'm going to catch you in one of my next videos. Bye.